When they came into Xinjiang, we suddenly had 1,500-kilometer border with them, which was J&K, which was also a princely state. Let's not forget that, which had its own problems. In fact, we just finished fighting over it with Kashmir, with Pakistan. And after they took over Tibet, we suddenly had a 4,000-kilometer long border. Sardar Patel, the Home Minister at that time, wrote a very incredibly strong and very perceptive note on this entire thing, where he appreciated what is going to happen. And that, everybody says, like if Sardar Patel had survived, maybe things would have been different. But what we forget is that there were actually three that set into motion, even though that letter was written 17 days before he died. It set into motion certain things which are even today top secret. We had the Himmat Singh Ji Committee and the Kulwant Singh Committee reports, which are still classified. Kulwant Singh in 1953 or 54, that report categorically stated that 9 years from now, there will be a border clash with China. And similarly, the Himmat Singh Committee report basically dealt with the Assam Rifles and the NIFA sector, where they decided where the real forward policy was first decided. There's a lot of criticism about all that, which I feel is slightly unfounded, and I've argued accordingly in the book. But what led to an absolute disaster in 62 was political interference in the hierarchy of the army and stuff like that. Because after General Thimaya, it was widely expected that General Thorat would become the chief. And he had held this amazing exercise in 1961, in March, in Lucknow, where everybody was present except for Nehru, where he had actually suggested fighting the Chinese from a defensive line, which was halfway down, which was just 25 nautical miles from the plains of this thing, from Assam, where he felt that we could hold the Chinese, let them come in, let the Assam Rifles harass them, etc. And this was an incredible piece of work, Lal Killa, because he actually predicted the dates of the attack. In fact, my 62 book starts virtually with that, because my father was into Rajput. They were in Wolong. He was one of the he was the LO for the general when he had come, along with Dashrath Singh, who was the JCO LO. And the 62 book, the seeds were sown when my dad and Dashrath Singh were discussing. And Dashrath Singh asked my dad, he said, "Aapko yaad hai saab, jab wo general saab aaye the, unhone to humko taarikh tak bata di thi. Phir bhi sab kuch galat ho gaya." How did it impact the Indian psyche after? Firstly, it was not a war. Let's be very clear about it. We've had 3 days of actual fighting with the Chinese. At Namkachu, at Bumla on the 23rd of October. And on the 17th, they have attacked in Sela. There was fighting in Wolong, and there was fighting in Ladakh. Not more than a division is actually involved if you actually take the entire thing and you total that up. I think it would take the 65 war for us to get off the mat. We were pretty badly hammered, and in the 65 book, in the preface, I've actually talked about the fact that 65 is really a continuation of what happened in 62. But it's to India's immense credit that we got up, we dusted ourselves, and we got on with it. And in 65, we managed to turn things around in a very different way, for which, again, there is a lot of naval presence here. A lot of people believe that the Navy had very little to do with the 1965, but in my book, I've argued that the war actually started because of the Navy and the exercise which was held off the Kathiawar coast.